Hi, everyone. I'm just going to give everybody a couple of minutes just to filter on in. It is just gone 7:30, and I know that this is a busy time of night for lots of people, so I'll let you filter in slowly. Welcome to Cookidoo for Dummies. Good. So we've still got people registering, actually, so that's a bit exciting. And yeah, we should have a good group tonight, and hopefully you will, learn something new. Give everybody just another minute. While that's happening, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping. So best to keep yourself on mute while you're in this Zoom, because whoever's talking goes in a big box and everybody gets to see them. And if you are talking, that will probably be you, and you might not want everybody to see you. So mute button is down the bottom left-hand corner. Up the top right-hand corner, you can change your view from speaker view to gallery view. Gallery view is quite good for if you're in meetings, because everybody's in a little box, but speaker view is quite good for things like this because you'll see me. I also point your attention to the chat box, which is, there's a little button down the middle of the bottom of the screen, and that'll bring up the chat box. And the chat box is where you can ask questions. So this is not just me talking to you for an hour, hopefully you'll have some questions. And the important thing to remember about questions is there's no such thing as a silly question. So if you are wondering, somebody else might be wondering as well. And so if you ask the question, you'll actually be doing them a favor. So let's see, let's make sure everybody knows where the chat box is. So I'll get you to pop your name in the chat box. Tell me where in the country or in Australia or wherever in the world you are, and tell me what you had for dinner. What did you make in your Thermomix tonight? So I'll tell you guys, my name's Odette. Hi, I'm in Auckland, East Auckland, Beachlands, and we actually had chunky bolognese for dinner tonight. That's one of our midweek favorites, and I hid lots of extra vegetables in the chunky bolognese, so go me. So welcome to Cookidoo for Dummies with Thermodette, and as the name suggests, we are going to be going through Cookidoo right from a very basic level. So for some of you who've been using Cookidoo for a little while, the first, few, 10 or 15 minutes, you might be going, well, this is a little bit basic. And it's because I really want even those people who haven't had enough experience or are brand new to Cookidoo, I want to give them a really good start to their Cookidoo journey. So we're going right from the start. So when you registered for this Zoom, you will have received a link to download a PDF. It's a 3-page PDF. If you didn't download the PDF, I'm popping the link into the chat box right now. So if you click on that link, you'll be taken to my Dropbox and you will be able to download the PDF. And we're going to be working through it tonight. Right, let's see. So, lots of people making delicious things for dinner, and I will read through them a little bit later. Might get some inspiration for later in the week. If you have questions while we're going through everything, pop them in the chat box. And at the end, I'll go to the chat box and I'll read the questions and I'll try and answer them for you. So let's start with, what is Cookidoo? Because we might have some people on here who don't know about Cookidoo. So Cookidoo is our online recipe platform. When I explain it to people, I say it's kind of like Netflix for recipes. So you have a subscription, and that subscription gives you access to over 90,000 recipes from all over the world. And all those recipes are available to you to cook with your Thermomix. If you have a TM6 on the screen of your Thermomix, if you have a TM5 on your app or on your device, and some of them will sync to your TM5. So that's what Cookidoo is. There is obviously an app you can download. There is a website you can go to. And if you have a TM6, Cookidoo will be on the screen of your Thermomix. And it's if you swipe, I always get confused about which way, swipe right. I think it's over this way. Now, sometimes people will say, well, do I have to have Cookidoo if I have a Thermomix? And the answer is no. Because it's just like, and I use the analogy of when you buy a really expensive TV. So you buy the TV And with your TV, you get the TV New Zealand, TV NZ channels. So they're the free channels, Freeview. And if all you want is just to watch Freeview, that's perfect. So you'll have the basics cookbook, comes preloaded on your TM6, and you'll be able to manual cook. If you want to, though, you can get Cookidoo, and that's like subscribing to Netflix or Prime or Disney or Neon, right? So that's up to you if you want to have the subscription, but it's actually really good value. So everybody gets 1 month's free access to Cookidoo. So if there are people on tonight who don't have Cookidoo, go to www.cookidoo.com.au and sign up and have a 30-day look round. When you purchase a Thermomix, a TM6, you get an additional 6 months access to Cookidoo. And then after the 6 months is up, a subscription is 69 Australian dollars a year. So that's $1.33, and you get access to over 90,000 recipes from all over the world. So I reckon it's pretty good value, but you don't have to have it. And that's the good thing about Cookidoo. You can still use your Thermomix without it. So that's what Cookidoo is. Now, when you get Cookidoo, the first thing that I recommend you do is I recommend that you set up your default filters. And if you've downloaded the PDF, that is the first thing. It's number one that I've popped in there. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you what I mean. So let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. There you go. This is my Cookidoo. This is what it will look like on your app. It's what it will look like on your Thermomix, and it's what it looks like on the browser of my computer. And what I mean by saying you need to set up your default filter preferences is you go up to your profile. Just want to make sure I'm doing it. Yeah, there you go. And you go to your profile, view profile, and you can choose your cooking style. Now, this doesn't affect any of your filters, but it does affect what Cookidoo will show you on that opening page and some of the suggestions that it will make for you. So for me, I'm the chefy cook. Some people are the veggie cook, the time-saving cook, the classic cook, and you can change this at any time, your filter preferences. You probably want to click which accessories you have, because if you don't have these accessories, you don't want to be shown them on Cookidoo because you don't have them. So I can tick all of these, and at any point you can go in and you can change this. The really important part is down here. When you first sign up to Cookidoo, because we sign up through Australia, it will have Australia as the country filter instead of English. So it'll just be Australia. But what we want is we want access to all the English recipes. So that will include America, the UK, Canada, Singapore. There's some Malaysian recipes. And so we need to update our filter. Now, if you have a TM5 and you don't want to be shown the TM6 recipes, this is where you need to click TM5 or TM31. You want to tick English. If you speak another language, that's awesome. You can tick that language as well. And you want to untick all of the countries because we want to see all the English recipes from all over the world. And we're going to save that. And that's our default filter updated. So if you are ever looking for a recipe and you can't find it, it will be something to do with your filters. And you'll have to go in there and have a little play. But it'll probably be because, yeah, something's wrong with your country filter. So that's step one. How are we doing? Are we all good? Everybody's kind of on top of it at this point? Yes, good. Right, step one. Step two, when we search Cookidoo, so if we go back to the page, the opening page, we can either search by just clicking in the search bar, or we can click by clicking explore, and both will take us to the same place. So let's do this, and it will open up the search. So when you are searching, because we have English, we can see 11,481 recipes. Let me show you what happens if we click Australia, which is what the default is when you get your Thermomix. Can you see it drops down to 3,584 recipes? Yeah, so that's why we get rid of Australia, and we can see all those results. So when we're just searching, we are actually searching recipes at the moment. If we wanted to search, the phone app is a little bit different, Kathy, and I'll talk about that in a second. So if we want to instead search for cookbooks or collections, we can actually change it. And now we're looking at collections, but look what's happened. Our filter has dropped off. So then we need to go back in. And when you do collections, you can't search by languages. You have to go back in and then you have to go, oh, what's an English country? Australia, Canada, the UK, the United States. And now we've got 821 cookbooks. So this would be if you had a specific interest of yours and you wanted a whole cookbook, Valentine's Day, pizza, etc. The other thing we can do is we can search articles. So on Cookidoo, we'll sometimes get really, really cool articles. And you might be curious about, this seems to be trending at the moment, yogurt. And look at that. It'll show us some articles on yogurt. Or you might be curious about, I don't know, lunch boxes, also trending. There you go, articles. So those are the ways you can search. Oh, somebody's got some reverb. That's okay. Right. So that's very basic, some of the ways you can search and the 3 things you can search. So using the filter, and what we can do now is we can actually get rid of all of that again because we're back to recipes. And so our default filter, which is English, has clicked back in. We've got English, we've got recipes, we're going back to our 11,481. And now we can play with the filter a little bit more. So we've filtered by language. We can also filter by categories. We can filter by difficulty, prep time, total time, servings, accessories. But a very cool thing we can do is we can search by ingredients. So we might go, and this is what I did tonight because I had some beef mince. I did that and it gave me 100 different results. But I can also search by ingredients that I don't want in my food. So if I go, I don't know, tomato, now it's going to take, so it's going to show me all the beef ingredients, beef mince, but without tomato, and it's dropped it down. All right. The other way that you can do that without going into the filters is you could just go in here and you could go beef mince, and it would bring it up the same way. And you'll see sometimes it's a little bit different. So often if I'm searching, I'll do it both ways. I'll go in the filter and I'll also go in here. You can also search multiple ingredients. So you might go beef mince, broccoli, carrot. And then it's going to take it way down. So the more you filter it, the less results you get. Good. Any questions up to this point? So I feel like it's still really, really, really basic. How are we going, team? We're good. Okay, so let's take that out. So we're going to get rid of all your filters. Let's see if I can go like this. Right. So let's say, and this is what happened in my case, is that I went in and we ended up with the chunky bolognese. And I went, oh, this is cool. I like the look of the chunky bolognese. Let me check this question quick. No, everybody's good. That's good. And so I found the chunky bolognese. And then I went, oh, I wonder, because I love this recipe, maybe I'll like the other recipes that are in this collection. So let me see. Oh, down here. Oh, this is where it comes from. So it's actually features in 2 cookbooks. One is Cookidoo Serve 2021 and one is the Skinny Mixes Classics. And I go, oh, okay, well, let me see what this one looks like. And this is the cookbook. And I actually really like the whole thing. And then, and I've actually already done it, I can save this entire cookbook to my Thermomix and to my Cookidoo. So I go save, and now that is saved. So this is both in the app, on the website, and on my Thermomix. I can go into my recipes saved collections, and where will it be? Oh, it's down here. Skinny Mixes Classics. There it is. Now, an important thing and a great tip is that anything that is saved in your collections is available to you even if you don't have Wi-Fi. So if you go camping or you go on holiday or your Wi-Fi is down or anything, I can still cook these because they are saved. All right, so we've learned about saving a collection. Now we might go, okay, well, I had a look at the Skinny Mixer. Where did it go? There you go, Skinny Mixes Classics, and I saved the whole collection. And then I went, oh, this LC, oh, this one looks really good. I could add this to my own collection. So you can create little collections or mini cookbooks in your Cookidoo. And I might decide, okay, I'm going to add this. I could create a new collection. So if you're new to Cookidoo, you won't have all of these collections. You'll just have create collection. But I might add this to, what could I add it to? I've got a lot of collections, you can tell. I decide this is actually quite a good one for Fakeaway Friday. And so I'll pop it in there. And now it is saved in that collection. You can have recipes in multiple collections. And if you decide that, you have a great collection and a friend of yours goes, man, I love that collection that you've created, that little cookbook. I would love for you to share it with me on the app. So not on your computer, on the app. When you go into that collection up here, instead of edit, there's a little button that says share. And if you click the share button, you can copy the link and then you can send that to a friend in a message or on social media. And if they click on that link, it will open up that collection and they can save it. There'll be a button up here and they can save it to their Cookidoo. So that's what we talk about when we say sharing collections. Depending what device you're working on, sometimes it doesn't like to open somebody else's collection. But yeah, when you flick it in a message, it's usually pretty good. Right, let me see, got some questions. Yes, you can share your collections on the app. Yes, Renee, you sure can. It's very exciting. Bronwyn, they are saved until you remove them or unsave them. Yep. So yeah, it's cool when you can share collections because we have a pretty cool community. And I know people are always asking for suggestions. And so it's nice to share the love. So that's how you can do that. Now, any other questions before I move on? Oh, I'll show you the other thing you can do. So let's say you're exploring and you type in, I don't know, let's go chicken and rice, because that's what I've got in my fridge or in my cupboard. And I look at this one and I go, yeah, I'm interested in this recipe, but I don't know if I'm ready to commit to this recipe. I don't know if I want to put it in a collection yet. I can actually bookmark this recipe. And it just means that it's there and I might go back to it. And one day I might put it in a collection, but I'm not ready to make that commitment. And if I go to my recipes, there it is, so that I can still find it, but it's not, I'm not committed. Like it could, I mean, maybe I'll cook it, maybe I won't. So those are the three ways that you can save recipes, create collections, and save entire collections that are already made. All right, let's see if anybody's got a question. You only have access to your saved recipes and collections. Well, yes, Kim, that is true. So just like if you had that TV, if you stopped paying your Netflix or you stopped paying for your Neon or your Prime or your Sky or whatever, you would no longer have access to things that you'd saved to your My List or Watch Later or whatever. You will only have access to the basics cookbook. If you, however, reactivate your Cookidoo down the track and you use the same email address, I believe that you will get your collections back. Hopefully that answers that question. Right, any other questions before I move on to some weekly planning? Make sure I haven't missed any. Good, okay, so Some people are really good planners. I'm a bit hit and miss with planning. I go through periods where I will plan my entire week out and I'll be really organized. And then I'll go through periods where I don't plan anything and I just fly by the seat of my pants. You probably know what sort of a person you are. Pop it in the chat box. Are you a planner or are you a fly by the seat of your pants person? I'm interested to know. I feel like there'll be a mix of the two. If you are, let me see if I've got some planners. Oh, I've got a planner. Oh, Christine's a fence sitter. I love that. Kathy's an Odette. I love that. Good. Okay, you'll know what you are. Julie can be both. Yep, I can definitely be both. And I go through stages, I think. So when you are browsing Cookidoo and you're creating collections and you're bookmarking recipes and whatever, and then you go, okay, now I'm going to sit down. I'm actually going to do some weekly planning. So you'll find a recipe, and let's say this is also really trending at the moment, the Nonnie Jenkins Thermofit program. And so let's go, okay, I look at this tonight. I'm in a planning phase. I've decided I'm going to plan out my entire week. And so I've gone to the recipe, and if I wanted to cook it today, I could click cook today, but more likely I'm going to add it to my week. And so I think I'm going to have it for breakfast tomorrow morning. That's the 9th. I'm going to save it. And then I might go, okay, let's look at the rest of her collection. As you've already seen, I haven't saved it yet, so it's not committed down to my Cookidoo for all time. And I might go, okay, what else of hers might I make tomorrow? Well, actually, I quite like the look of this one. I'm going to add this one to my weekly planner. And I'm going to cook it. Yeah, let's do it tomorrow for dinner. And if I go back, I might decide, I don't know, maybe we'll have the hash browns for lunch. Going to add it to my week. And there you go. Now I'm going to have a beautiful Friday. I have lots of things saved. If you want to know where this lives, it's up here in my week. So today I actually was quite good. I put 2 things on my planner. And there is tomorrow. So some people, when they open their Cookidoo, you'll see they'll just have a whole week or a whole month or whatever planned out of Cookidoo. And they're super organized. I'm not like that. It's a bit hit and miss. So here's all the planning. And you can add from your recipe page, but you can also add it if you go to the cookbook and you just click these 3 lines or these 3 dots. You can also add it to your week from there. So maybe I'll make these with the kids on Saturday, save. And if we go into my weekly planner, there it is. And if you wanted to move things around, you could. You could remove it. You could add it to a collection. You could move it to another day. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to add it to the shopping list. So you can add to the shopping list from your weekly planner. You can add from the recipe itself to the shopping list. Or you can add it. You could add like the entire day to your shopping list. So any questions before I move on about adding things to your weekly planner? Trying to go slowly so I don't lose anybody. Are the Nonnie recipes a collection? Yes, they are. And how would you find it? Well, you'd go into the search. You'd change from recipes to collections. And in the search bar, you just type Nonnie probably or Thermofit. Could you quickly race through how to add a whole day, please, to the shopping list? Yep, absolutely. So all you would do is let me add something else to Saturday. So let's go to the collection. Oh, let's go. We're going to do this on Saturday. So add to the weekly planner for Saturday. Save in the weekly planner. If you click this one, add, the entire day goes onto the shopping list. There you go. Good. It's called Nani Jenkins, very popular recipes. Yes. And Renee brings up a very good point, is that if you go to the homepage of your Cookidoo, you'll usually see what's new in terms of recipes. You'll see what's new in terms of collections, cookbooks, and you'll see what everybody's cooking. And usually there'll be a little bit of an article, a few articles as well. So this front page is really useful. Good. Right. So we've made a shopping list. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the shopping list. And here it is. And if we show all and show the ingredients, here it is. So the shopping list can either be categorized by category, so that it'll put like things together, or you can do it by recipes. And it just depends on you, really, how your brain works. I quite like mine in recipes, but some people prefer it in categories. And now we can go through our shopping list and we can see what we already have. So you might be in the cupboard, or you might just know what's in your cupboard. And so I know I've got sugar, I've got some other sugar, got more sugar. Oh, these cookies have got lots of sugar. I have got water, obviously. I have got some self-raising flour. What else have I got? I have butter. And as you're ticking these things off, this is where they go down the bottom. So if you make a mistake, you can go back and you can put it back onto the list by clicking this. Once you've gone through the whole list and you know that you have you've ticked off everything that you have and you're happy with that list, you get down to the additional items. And so these are extra things. And you can see I've popped toilet paper on there and dishwashing liquid twice, so we can probably get rid of one. Paper towels, might need some dog food. So we can keep adding things to our shopping list. And then once we're happy with our shopping list, we can share it. So either up here, options, we can print it. Or if we click share, we'll copy the entire list to the clipboard, and then we can either paste it into a text, a Facebook message, an Instagram message, or an email. And then we can send that off to ourselves as a reminder, or to our significant other, or somebody who's going to go do the shopping for us. The other thing we can do, and this is quite cool, and I do love this one. You are welcome, Kim. Just taught you how to add extra things. That is excellent. Is we can order our ingredients. So if we click order ingredients, it will link us up to the Woolworths app. Now, this does not work on your computer. It works on your phone, on the app on your phone. In Australia, I think it might work on your computer. But in New Zealand, you have to do it through your phone. Let's check. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work. Oh, look, it is working now. That's good. Maybe it's since it changed over from Countdown to Woolworths. So it'll link up to Woolworths, and then you can swap things out, because I might look at it and go, well, actually, White Wings self-raising flour, that's an expensive one. I don't want that one. So instead, I'm going to get the Woolworths self-raising flour. Let me see, what have they got? Woolworths. I don't want wholemeal. Maybe I'll have, oh, this is probably cheaper because it's not, it's about the same price. Okay, well, actually, I will keep this one. So let's go back. Let's find one I want to change. Sunflower kernels. Let's see if I can swap those. So you can go through and you can find, yep, there you go, cheaper options, and pop those in instead. You want to make sure that it's selected the right things, because sometimes it gets lost in translation a little bit. And you go, oh, actually, I've got chicken stock because I made it in my Thermomix. Let's get rid of it. So once you are happy with this shopping list, we can then order it. So you go, oh, is it down the bottom? I think you guys are in my way. Yes, add all of it to the cart. And then you'll go through your process of ordering your groceries, and you'll either do a little pickup, or they'll bring it round and they'll deliver it for you. At the moment, it is only Woolworths that you can connect your Cookidoo to order your groceries. Hopefully one day it will also be places like New World or Pack and Save. But for the moment, we've got Woolworths. Good. Right. Any other questions? Can you print your shopping list? Yes, Joe, you can. So if we go back here in options, there it is, print. And then it will bring up my printer and I can print it out. So whichever works for you. Or if you've got your phone, you can just go into the app, and as you are shopping, you can actually just tick them off. So that's quite a handy one as well. Any other questions about the shopping list? Might as well answer them while we're going. I'm checking my list as well to make sure that I'm telling you all the things I wanted to tell you. Let's have a look, see if we've got any. Can you show us again how to add non-thermo things? I definitely can. So if you go to your shopping list, so you go my week, and then, oh, it wants me to sign in again. That's wonderful. Let's do it quick. Gotta love that. There you go. So you go my week, shopping list, show ingredients, scroll down, and right here down the bottom, oh, I've got a lot on my shopping list. This is where you add additional items. So that's quite handy. That is the shopping list. Let's see if anybody else has got questions. So awesome about the shopping list. That's good. Where do you go for the clipboard? Yep, I can show you again. So if you go up the top, and again, it's under options, share, copy to the clipboard. Easy. So that is the shopping list. And again, I go through stages. Sometimes I will use it a lot and I'll be doing my shopping and be really good. And then sometimes not so much, but it is an incredible feature for you to have. Now, where is it once you've copied it, Kathy? You would then open an email and then you'd paste it. So it's on your clipboard, either on your phone or on your computer. So you just do, it's a copy and a paste. Good. Right. So we've set up our Cookidoo, we've searched by ingredients we have, ingredients we don't have. Oh, the other thing, the other way you can search is you can search by keywords. So you might go keto, find some results, or you may go, I don't know, what else could we search for? My brain's just gone off, vegetarian. Search that way. So you can search, and sometimes you have to play around a little bit with the searching, and you have to tweak it a bit. But yeah, if you have special dietary requirements, you can also do it that way. So we've talked about searching, we've talked about making collections, we've talked about bookmarking, we've talked about the shopping list, the weekly planner, and now we're ready to get a little bit more advanced with our Cookidoo. So those are the basics. Now we're going to talk about, I find a Cookidoo recipe and I actually decide that it is not exactly to my liking, because we're all different and we have different tastes, and Cookidoo recipes, you know, they appeal to the public. And so sometimes we might find one and we go, actually, I don't like it the way it is. I tweak it and I want to be able to see the tweaked instructions on my Cookidoo. So let's have a look at maybe one of my bookmarked recipes. So let's say, oh, I don't know. Let's do one of these. So I look at this cherry lemon limeade, which actually looks delicious. And because it's an American recipe, I can see it because my filter is not just Australian. And because it's an American recipe, it's in ounces, but that doesn't matter because my Thermomix will automatically change to ounces when I'm cooking this recipe, and then back to grams when I'm done. And so I look at this and I go, actually, I like the look of this recipe, but it's a lot of sugar. And I actually don't want to put lemon lime flavored sparkling water in it. I want to put actually Prosecco in it, because I've decided this is going to be a cocktail. And so I want to change this recipe, and I am going to go add, and I'm going to add it to my created recipes. And what that does is it takes me to this page, and then I'm going to change it. So it's going to be called Thermodette's cherry lemon limeade punch because it's going to be alcoholic. So I've renamed it. And I could take a photo of it when I finished making it. And I'm going to go in here and go, actually, I don't want this much sugar. That was one of the things I wanted to change. So I'm going to change this to only 4 ounces. And one of the other things I wanted to change is I'm not using sparkling water. I'm going to use Prosecco. And I look at it and I'm like, man, actually, I don't want to cook the syrup for 30 minutes. I feel like maybe that's a bit long. I mean, I don't know because I haven't made it, but let's pretend that I don't want to cook it for 30 minutes. So I'm actually going to go in here. I'm going to change this to 15 minutes because I feel like that's enough. And over here where I changed the sparkling water, because I changed the ingredient over here. So I need to go into this step and I need to remove sparkling water because that's what's going to come up when it's on my screen. And I don't want that. I want it instead to be Prosecco. So I'm going to get rid of that whole step. Yep, delete the ingredient, yes. And instead, I'm going to add my ingredient, which was this one here, Prosecco. So now it says Prosecco instead of sparkling water. And the other thing I have to change is I just have to make sure that the sugar that I reduced is now 4 ounces. So either I can just change it or I can delete the sugar completely and then re-add it over here. There it is, 4 ounces of sugar. So now I have changed this recipe, and the first couple of times you do this, it feels a bit clunky and you might not get it 100% right. You might turn on your Thermomix and go, actually, that doesn't look like what I wanted it to look like. That's okay, because you can come back and edit it. So I've changed this recipe and I'm happy with it. And now I'm going to press confirm and done. And now I have a new recipe. And when I turn on my Thermomix, I will also see the recipe and it will tell me that it's my own recipe that I've created. And so you can have up to 100 of these recipes, and you'll see there's some other Cookidoo recipes that I've taken and I've changed. What else did I change? The crackers I changed. There's been a few over the years. So if you want to tweak a recipe, you can, and you can save it as a whole new recipe. The original recipe still looks the same in my bookmarks. So if I went back, it would still be there, but my new recipe is here. Right, questions, because we've taken a giant leap forward. It still says sparkling water. Does it, Sophie? Let me have a look. Dun, dun, dun. It says Prosecco. Let me check. Yep, so I didn't delete the sparkling water properly. So good catch. What I can do is go in here and just get rid of it. Anything that is underlined in green is going to pop up on your screen as something you weigh in or something that you chop or cook or whatever. So if you wanted to change this, let's say I add the Prosecco and I go, actually, I don't want to mix it for 5 seconds. I want to mix it for 10 seconds. I could click on it and change it. I could also add a mode. So if I wanted to I mean, I wouldn't because it's a cocktail, but if I wanted to do something else, I could add it in there, but I'm just going to change it to 10 seconds. And there it is. Good catch, Sophie. And then I'm going to save it again. So the first few times you do it, you might have to tweak it a bit because you may go, well, actually I changed it, but it still says sparkling water. And you'll get better as you go. Does this have to be done on the computer? Now, it has to be done on the computer or on your app. You can't create a recipe on your Thermomix. And I feel like it's just because it's too fiddly. So you can either do it on your computer or you can do it on your app. Are your created recipes public? No, they are just for you, and you cannot share them the way that you share collections. If you wanted to share it with somebody, you could screenshot it and you could send it to them and they could probably put it in themselves. But yeah, you can't share them with anybody else. They are just for you. Any other questions? As I said, you can make 100. This will increase at some point, hopefully soon, because I'm going to run out of space. So if he wants to know, is it true for the TM5 too? Yes. So on your app or on the computer, you can create recipes, but you cannot download them to your Thermomix. So the TM6, you can cook them on the screen. Your TM5, they will be on the app, but they won't be on your Thermomix. So you can't sync and see them on your TM5. So you will have to cook them manually. So you all have to set everything. So that's one of the bonuses of having a TM6 and being able to download everything to your TM6. It doesn't mean you can't do it with your TM5, but it just means you can't go next. Tanya's very excited about her Thermomix. That's good. Any other questions about this one before I go a next step? Because I know we've gone, this is kind of a giant leap, taking a recipe and changing it. And the first few times you do it, if you struggle, reach out to your consultant because they actually have done it. Hopefully they've done it a few times and they will be happy to hop on with you and do your first few so that you feel more confident doing it. The more you do it, the better you'll get. Right, no other questions. Does that mean a created recipe on a TM5 is a manual cook? Yes, it does. You cannot download a created recipe to a TM5, unfortunately. Yep. But you can manually cook it. So set time, temperature, and speed all by yourself. You can still have it in your Cookidoo though. So still good to have. Right, so let's go a step further. So now let's talk about importing recipes to your Thermomix. So copyright is a real thing, and that means that you can only download or add recipes to the created recipes that you yourself have created or that you download from the recipe community. So the recipe community, www.recipecommunity, let me go in here and show you, is a website where owners of Thermomixes and consultants, etc., have actually uploaded their own recipes to the recipe community, and they are an amazing resource as well. So if you can't find something on Cookidoo, go to the recipe community and you might be able to find something there. Cookidoo recipes are triple tested. So in the recipe development kitchen, we test them 3 times and they have to be absolutely perfect each time or we don't load them to Cookidoo. The recipe community is not like that. They are not tested. So when you are cooking from the recipe community, look at the comments under the recipe because they will tell you whether it's a good recipe or not, whether you actually want to have a go. So if you go to the recipe community and let's go, I'll just log in and I'll download one of my own recipes. Recipes. So let's say, I don't know, let's do the Negroni sour. And you find the recipe and you go, okay, I'm going to download this to my Cookidoo because I want to cook it on the screen of my Thermomix. There's a little add to Cookidoo button over here, and that means that you can download it. So don't upload recipes that don't belong to you, things like skinny mixes or Alice Alexandra or anything that you don't own the recipe, because that would be a bad no-no. So add to Cookidoo. Yes, I would like to do it. And then we go back to this page. And this is the same page that we were on when we adapted that recipe that we found on Cookidoo. So here's the Negroni sour. Here are the ingredients. And sometimes you might decide to tweak the ingredients. I'm happy with these because I know they're my ingredients. So I know that they work. And now you have to go, because when you import it, it doesn't automatically put those little green lines under things. It just bulk takes the text over. And if you saw this on your Thermomix, you wouldn't have the scales or the chopping or the anything. So we need to do some doctoring over here. And this is the thing that you have to practice to get better at. So sugar, we need to find it in the ingredients. There it is, 30 grams of raw sugar. If we click it, there it is. And then we just get rid of that word. There you go. Now, when you actually see this on the screen of your Thermomix, it'll be underlined. And when you tap it, it will bring up the scale and you can weigh in the sugar. Same thing with the lemon peel. So we're going to highlight it. I'm going to delete it, find it in the ingredients, and there it is. And now we need to mill it for 10 seconds on speed 10. So same thing, highlight it, take it out, click on the blades, 10 seconds, speed 10. So now it's highlighted, and when you cook it on the screen of your Thermomix, you'll click on it and the blades will come up and it will be set up for you. And so this is what you have to do with the entire recipe. And so the first few times you do it, it'll be a little bit time consuming, but then you'll get better and better and better, and you'll just race through it. And again, as I said, if you are trying to do this and you are not winning, your consultant is your best friend and they will help you to set it up. And yeah, and I'm happy to do some more sessions on this if people are still not feeling super confident. So we're adding all the things in. There you go. And we've got the vermouth. There you go. And then again, we've got to take out 10 seconds speed 4. We've got to click the blades. Now, if it was reverse, you could go all the way down and change the blades to reverse, but it's not. There you go. And there we have it. What else do we have to do? Butterfly whisk in, add 2 egg whites. So you could imagine if it was a really long recipe, this would, you know, you'd have to spend a little bit of time on it. But then the awesome thing is that you could cook it using guided cooking, or anybody else who uses your Thermomix could also make it. So 30 seconds, speed 3.5. Go. Perfect. And that is done. Again, we could go in and we could add a photo. We could change the photo if we wanted to. We could add some tips and hints and tips. So if we make it and we've got some extra stuff we want to add, we could pop that in there. And once we're happy with it, we can save it. What happens if I click options? Oh, there you go. Upload, remove image, delete recipe. Good, done. And there it is in my created recipes. Any questions? It's a lot to take in, especially if you're new to Cookidoo. Let's see. Is it is it easier to do it on a computer? Yes, it is. Can't wait to go. Yeah, does that mean? Oh, no. Can you search by a person in the recipe community? Let's have a look. Always go. Let's just try. So if you go into the recipe community and you want to search by a person, can you do it? Yes, you can. Yeah, you can search by a person as well. And it shows you your search history. You can also search, again, you might search by, I don't know, chicken, and it'll show you some recipes. And yeah, again, you just want to have a look and make sure that it's worth importing to your Cookidoo. Some of the recipes have been inputted really well into the recipe community. Some of them are really scrambled and you're going to have to spend a little bit more time dissecting them and making them work. Marie's mind is blown. That is excellent. You are welcome. Heather says it's going to save a lot of bad language in the kitchen. Good. Donna says that's the way she's been doing it. Is it true that you can't get the recipe community recipes onto Cookidoo when you own a TM5? Sophie, you can still get them onto Cookidoo and they will be in your created recipes on the app and on your computer, but you cannot download them to your Thermomix. You'll have to cook them manually. So you can still do it, but you can just go into the recipe community and just manually cook them from there. So unless we create or change a recipe, we can't add tips of our own. That's right, Kathy. So you used to be able to put notes on recipes in Cookidoo, and it's a feature that they phased out. I'm not sure why, but if you have some notes you want to put on a recipe, then you need to put it into your created recipes. Rosemary wants to know, can you have folders in created recipes? No, you cannot, not yet. But let's have a look. Let's do a little bit of playing around. So if you look at the recipe, there's 3 dots. I can add it to my week. So let's say Friday night, we're having cocktails. I can add it to cook today. I can add it to my shopping list as well, but I can't put it in a collection. So will it happen eventually? I hope so, because that would be quite handy if you could put it in a collection. But yeah, for the moment, no, you can't put it in a collection. Any other questions? Not yet. Okay, I'll wait and see if anybody has a question. Right. There is only one step further when it comes to created recipes, and that is actually to make a recipe from scratch. Now, let me answer this question first. So you can only change and save a change in portions on the computer. So Wendy, and I haven't shown you guys this one. Wendy, thanks for the reminder. In some of the recipes that you find on Cookidoo, like, just trying to think of one, not all of them yet. Eventually, they will do all of them. But for the moment, some of them, when you look at the portion size, if you click on that, you can change the portion size. And if you do this, it changes the ingredients and the time of some of the steps of the recipe. And if you then cook it today, when you go to your Thermomix, it should save it in that different portion size. Check, double check, because I'm saying it should. I feel like it does. You can also change the portion size on your Thermomix. So some of them, you can click on serving size and change it on your Thermomix as well. If you so Wendy, I think you can save it on your computer. I don't know what happens if you save it. Let's do an experiment. So I've changed the portion size and I'm going to add it to my week, and I'll add it to Saturday, save, and let's see how it's saved in my week. So here's Saturday. And when I click on it, is it still, yep, it's still the same portion size. So it's still 4 portions. And when you cook it on your Thermomix, it'll be the same. So yes, it does carry it across. That's cool. I didn't know that. Any other questions before I go on? Right. So the last step, and this is kind of the most complicated one, and I would recommend you play around with adjusting some Cookidoo recipes and downloading some from the recipe community first before you do this. But the other thing you can do is you can go into your recipes, into your created recipes, and you can actually just create one. So if you go plus, it will start from scratch. And then you'll have to give your recipe a title, or I don't know. Let's do my breakfast smoothie. Breakfast smoothie. And we can actually start from the beginning. Now, if you want to create your own recipe, the first thing I'd say is before you actually do this, work smarter, not harder. So it's my breakfast smoothie. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to search for smoothie. And then I'm going to have a look at some of the smoothies and see if any of these can be used as a template for the recipe that I want to create. Because I might go, I don't know, protein shake. I might look at this one and go, actually, this is kind of what I do with my smoothie, right? So instead of starting from scratch, I could actually add this to my created recipes. I could change the name. I could change some of the ingredients, add mine, take theirs out. I could change this, change some of the speed, so I could use it as a template. So that's the first thing I try, because somebody else has probably done something similar to you, and why make it hard for yourself if you don't have to? Similar with things like cookies. So if you've got an amazing chocolate chip cookie recipe, before you start making your life hard, go chocolate chip cookies and have a look at some of your options. And you may find when you look at them, you go, oh, actually, I'm going to use this as my template. and I'm just going to put my ingredients in here, and I'm going to follow the steps that are already there. Because that's a lot easier than making it from scratch. If you don't want to do that and you want to do it the hard way, then that's where we go into that PDF that I attached for you guys. So I'm just going to stop share, and I'm quickly going to find that PDF so that I can share it. Let me have a look. Will we be able? Yes, there'll be a recording, Sophie. Yes, there will. And you might want to watch it again because there's a lot of information. So the PDF that I shared with you has got some information. So if you decide you are going to make your own recipe and you don't want to find something, you want to do it yourself, then you're going to go here and you're going to go, okay, well, I've got this cookie recipe that my grandmother gave me, and I know that you put the butter and the sugar in. How long do you reckon that I need to cream that butter? Well, let's see if anything here gives us any. Kneading butter. No, that's melting it. That's not what I want. What could I use? Oh, it's not much in here that's actually going to help me. The back of your basics cookbook also has a little section on this sort of stuff. I actually know when you cream butter that you put it in for 30 seconds on speed 4, but that's because I've had some experience. So let's use a different example. Let's say you've got a recipe and you want to start by grating cheese. Well, you'd go in here and you'd go, okay, I've got cheddar cheese, weigh it in, kind of 10 minutes, speed 7, and that's the step you would use. And you'd kind of build your recipe around some of these instructions and also the ones that are in the back of your basics cookbook. So there's stuff here, there's stuff about modes, how you use those, or ask your consultant because they're actually pretty good at this. So I've added this little cheat sheet, and that will help you in creating your own recipe. But as I said, this is a pretty advanced step, and it depends, you know, how confident you feel with your Cookidoo. And so I would start with this, adapting recipes and importing recipes, and I'd have a little bit of a play, and then eventually you might decide. And yeah, if you need help with it, reach out. You can reach out to me or you can reach out to your consultant, and we are always happy to help you adapt recipes, because seeing your own recipe or your grandmother's recipe or on the screen of your Thermomix is actually really, really cool. Right. Any other questions? I feel like we've sped through all of this. Let me stop sharing and see if anybody has a question. Anything that wasn't clear or anything that you think I missed, because I know some of you actually are quite good at Cookidoo. You probably could be telling me some things about Cookidoo. Let's see if I've got anything that I have missed. I don't think so. If you do think of any questions, you can definitely flick them through to me. You can pop them in an email, you can text me, you can send them on Facebook, you can send them on Instagram, you can send them on TikTok as well. But yeah, that's a very, very condensed Cookidoo for Dummies with Thermodette. Hopefully it was helpful. I have recorded the session, so I will upload it to my YouTube and send out the link to the YouTube recording. I definitely would like to run some more Cookidoo sessions, and maybe there will be more around uploading your own recipes. So possibly if there's interest, I could run a session where you bring a recipe and we all upload it together, and we might do, I don't know, 3 or 4 recipes just so everybody gets a feel for it. We could do it together. But yeah, Cookidoo is such an incredible resource. And the more you play with it and the more you use it, the more you will love it. Like, I feel like once you see Cookidoo, you have to have a Thermomix, because the possibilities are just endless. Ivana wants to know about rating a recipe. Oh, I completely forgot to show you. Let me show you that quickly before you go. So when you look on Cookidoo, you can rate recipes. So when you're searching for a recipe, if you see a recipe like this, where it's got 4.5 stars and 736 ratings, it's a fair bet that this is a good recipe. So you might cook it and go, oh my gosh, this is an amazing recipe. And then you also go, oh, it was very good. I loved it. And you submit, right? Because that helps other people to have confidence when cooking recipes. I will say, though, that I have sometimes made recipes that on Cookidoo had 2 stars. And I was like, I don't know about this recipe. And they turned out to be incredible recipes because sometimes people are biased when they'll make a recipe and they don't like broccoli and it'll have broccoli in it. And even though the recipe was totally fine because it had broccoli in, they'll give it a 1 because they hate broccoli. So sometimes I take it with a pinch of salt, but when you find a recipe that has good ratings and lots of them, then it's usually a good sign that you can cook it. So I encourage you to rate recipes because it does help other people. And yeah, it helps them to be more confident when they cook. Need your cover getting the most out of the search engine? Yes. So Joe, if you feel like you're not getting all the recipes, it's about your filter. So go into your filter, make sure all you have ticked is English, and then you will get all the recipes. Usually when you cannot find something, it's because you've also got Australia ticked. Usually that's what it is. Good. So yeah, so there you have it, Cookidoo for Dummies. If you enjoyed tonight's class, I have popped in that PDF, I have popped a link up to my Stan store. So I do have some online courses that are loaded in there. Probably the best one to start with is TM6 Modes Demystified, because what we do is we work through all of the modes of the TM6. There are 12 modules. Each module has a video, it has a recipe, it has tips and tricks. And if you do that course, you will have a really good understanding. Like when I was putting that course together, I learned so much about my Thermomix. So access to that course is through my Stan store. It's $24.99, and I think it's great value for what you'll learn. So yeah, so if you enjoyed tonight, go and check it out. There are other things on there like sourdough for dummies, pasta for dummies. We did around the world. We did a fresh start, which was like a healthy eating, move your body more campaign. And all of them are available on my Stan store. If you do sign up to any of those courses, you have ongoing support. So if you have any questions as you're working through them, feel free to reach out. But yeah, there's some stuff on there. And if you need any more info about any of those things, feel free to reach out. I hope this was of service. Before you go, I'd love to know your biggest takeaway from the session. So pop it in the chat box for me. What blew your mind? What did you learn that you didn't know? What are you going to use in the coming week? And yeah, and then that will be it, guys. I hope you have an amazing evening. I feel like I spoke a lot, and so hopefully I wasn't just rambling, because I do have a tendency to ramble, but hopefully it was a useful ramble. And yeah, I hope to see you guys again soon on one of these sessions. Once you've popped your comment in the chat box, you're free to go. Have a great evening. I will see you again soon.